is actually an old picture of famous supermodel Elle Macpherson. So Imogen is like, is this woman really lying about being a model back in the day? I wonder what else she's lying about. So she starts screenshotting all these therapist posts and saving them. Meanwhile, around this time, Vanessa finally starts to acknowledge that her marriage is ending, and her mental health keeps deteriorating little by little. And eventually, the depression becomes too much for her, and she, unfortunately, unalives herself. And of course, everyone is devastated, and pretty quickly, Imogen wants to look into therapist. Like, why does she seem to be lying in Facebook posts about being a former model? And so she reaches out to one of her mother, Vanessa's friends. And friend hires a private investigator to look into all this. And private investigator starts looking into it, and they find that therapist is a big fucking liar. Like, remember how she said her husband and kids were just in a car accident and they all died? Total lie. She never had a husband or kids, ever. They don't exist at all. Or how she said her ex, the father of her kids, was so devastated by the news that he had started doing drugs and now he's fallen off the face of the earth? Also a lie. No one can find him because he also doesn't exist. So from the beginning, when therapist was like, we have so much in common, then they both have 2 daughters, they're both married to their second husband, they both used to model, all of it was bullshit. Therapist has never been married, never had any children, never a model. She made it all up. And it seems like she made up the part about her husband and kids dying in a car crash so that Vanessa would come over and start taking care of her. Regardless, after learning all this, poor Imogen is horrified. And she's like, F this, and she goes and she files a formal complaint against therapist with the Healthcare Complaints Commission. While at the same time, therapist has already moved on with her life. In fact, a month after Vanessa passed, therapist had already moved in with her new friend, the one Vanessa was jealous about. Anyway, so the Healthcare Complaints Commission investigates, and they find that therapist violated a lot of rules and was likely taking advantage of Vanessa and grooming her during their therapy sessions with the ultimate intention of seducing her. And of course, therapist denies she did anything wrong. She won't even admit that she lied about having a husband and kids. But whatever, at the end of it all, her registration to practice gets canceled, and she's no longer allowed to provide therapy to anyone. Good. And thank you to Leonardo.ai for sponsoring this video. If you want to make badass art for your videos like this, or like this, or like this, then sign up for Leonardo.ai.